is that?
He's here. Welcome, folks, to this little special edition of the 3-2-0 Screw Throwdown. Tonight, it's all about the Undertaker, the dead man, the Phenom.
30 years of destruction, man.
So, a lot of you out there, I'm sure, have just like we just watched The Last Ride, Chapter 5, this past Sunday on the network. And if you haven't yet, you need to. And unless you've been living in a cave, you know that in this episode, he does talk about retirement. So that's what prompted this little segment here. We just, you know, when someone who's the biggest character, the greatest
gimmick
wrestling character gimmick of all time, yeah, and just.
And honestly, I never...
3 decades of just dominance.
And honestly, he's been doing it for so long that it's like, oh yeah, we'll see Taker at Mania. You know?
Yeah.
I always got that feeling, but...
So this episode, we want to talk about The Undertaker. So, I mean, obviously, first thing first, it's The Last Ride, Chapter 5, Revelation. As we know, the AJ, it starts off, right with the build-up of the AJ Undertaker feud match for WrestleMania.
Right, wasn't it? Didn't something happen at Saudi Arabia?
Well, it starts out talking about, AJ was the one who made the call. He's
right.
like, I work with him, and of course Taker's like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of. He was thinking he was done because because at the very beginning of it, they start off at the end of after the match with where him and Roman Reigns tag team against Shane and Drew McIntyre.
He thought that was a good way to
he
go
told
out.
Vince, they showed him, telling him backstage, I think I'm done. This is that match felt good. He was going out, feeling good about the match, and he was good. So and then of course we all know that he agrees to the match. I kind of like how he did him, how Undertaker did the old prank on AJ.
He did what they call a rib.
Yeah.
In the wrestling world.
Having Vince tell him that he was going to do Mania, but he was going to work with someone else. AJ's like, bull crap, but he didn't say bull crap. He said bullshit. He
That's
did.
right. Oh yeah.
But yeah. So
Taker said, "There's this young kid in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Want to get him over."
Yeah. The thing, the first thing that and it's funny, that they talked about. He touched on it, and it was the thing that I thought of too when watching it happen in live. Is the promos, the trash talking. After the Saudi Arabia thing, when Undertaker showed up and
he kind of
choke slams AJ and sneaks the win, for that trophy, whatever it was.
Well, and
and then AJ comes back, trash talking.
But and in that last chapter, he was talking about with the trash talking. It was somewhere he never let anybody else go with. It was like breaking the fourth wall of the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He wasn't addressed. He was
addressing
him as by
Mark.
his name, Mark Calloway.
Nobody's done that. So
talking about his wife, Michelle McCool, and.
But he gave the okay.
Oh well, yeah. They talked about him and everything.
They did the.
But it's what made the build up for this match.
That's right.
So good, so much like he said, when it showed him watching the promo that AJ's cutting, You know, it's all about, yeah, people aren't gonna be happy unless I push his face in, you know.
Yeah.
So, of course, Undertaker, you know, he comes back at him in a way that we've not seen Undertaker, you know. You know, calling him by his name, Alan Jones, you know. We're talking about my wife, you want this and that, and I'm, you know, I'm gonna make you pay. But I do like how in that promo he does throw that little line in there. Try me. I'll make you famous. You know.
Just bringing back, of course, the biker.
So and
The
as
American
was he
badass.
in that response promo is when we first heard him talking about the unholy trinity. Now, when I first heard that, you know, my mind started, whoa, man, you know, oh my God, that's gonna be. I'm telling you, I bet you the unholy trinity. It's gonna be Kane and Sting. It's gonna be Kane and Sting. I'm telling you, people were talking about it. That's what they thought. That's what the unholy trinity was gonna be. It's gonna be Undertaker, Kane, and Sting, because you knew Gallows and Anderson were gonna show
get
up,
involved,
you know, and get
of course.
involved. So,
Of course.
but we learned watching this what he really meant about the unholy trinity being, you know, the three versions of him.
Yeah.
It was a combination of the Undertaker, you know, the dead man, the American Badass, and then
Mark
the
Calloway.
man himself, Mark Calloway, because that's what he talked about. You know, when AJ Styles started addressing, you know, his wife and talking about his age and making it like personal, he couldn't come back at him as Undertaker. You know, that was, he had to come back as Mark Calloway. You know, that's like a, you know, you're not just disrespecting my character, you're disrespecting, you know, me as a man. You know, him. So that was that unholy trinity. It was the blend of the three sides,
the
of
three
him,
personas.
you know, Mark Calloway himself, the dead man, and the badass, and it worked beautifully, as we know with that, you know, witnessing that match. Which another thing that we learned watching that was surprising and shocking to learn that his brother, you know, dies of a massive heart attack, like 2 days or a day or
shooting.
2 days before they shoot this Boneyard match, and
naturally,
it was wild. So though, watching that and seeing him getting like choked up and getting emotional, because you know we're not used to seeing Undertaker like that. You know,
no, man.
That's been the great thing about this whole
documentary,
this whole series. You know, is just
you get to see the real person.
Yeah, because he's been so guarded, as you said.
Yeah, and well, Undertaker, from what I understood, because of the character that he has, it was more him that wanted to protect the image, and he did that for 30 years.
Oh yeah, he was always, you know, kayfabe. He was
always in kayfabe, and you know, it was kind of like he was a traditionalist with how it was with the boys back in the day. Now you got it to where up, down, down on YouTube, you got heels versus faces hanging out, drinking, you know, having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like that. So I always kind of respected Taker for that. It was like he was old school, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, at a time. But now times have changed so much that he probably figures at the tail end of his career, at the very end, I'm going to be me now. You know, I lived that character for 30 years. It's time to be the dad, the husband, you know,
father.
They said even if it's something as boring as driving a minivan, dropping our kids off at soccer, because Michelle McCool was saying that, you know, it's going to be the things that he didn't get to do, the normal stuff that some of us may take for granted, you know.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to finally do that stuff.
Absolutely.
Which I feel like that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then not just, you know, you got a feel for him, you know, but you know, also you find out that a couple days after the Mania shoot is Michelle McCool's nephew dies in a car crash. You know,
right after graduation.
18 years old, just graduated high school.
Right after graduation.
Whole life in front of him.
So they had two losses. I mean, that's got to be, and then plus you're in the middle of the first wind of coronavirus.
COVID-19.
Yeah, just slid that in there. I know, but
you like that, Arnold?
But yeah, whatever. So the whole point is, I mean, that made it difficult traveling and stuff, and then plus WrestleMania not
Well, you know what it
being
did.
at the main stage.
What that did, I think, you know, that's the one of the things I took away from that, especially most importantly that 5th chapter, that last episode, because I mean that stuff was, it's right now. I mean that's right, is it opened his eyes, you know, to things. He started, well, like he talked about the Kobe Bryant, death tragedy there.
Life's too short.
You know, that really affected him. You know, he knew Kobe, he liked Kobe, but he just showed him that, you know, man, when it's your time, it's your time, and it could be
Today, tomorrow.
It could be any time. I mean, nobody knows. You know, I'm filming this now. There's no guarantee that I wake up tomorrow, you know, or you wake up tomorrow, or you wake, you know,
That's
it
true.
just, so.
Every day's a blessing.
Yeah, and he wants to, like you said, 30 years of, giving his all to the business. And with all these things happening, like I said, with the corona and the death of his brother and her nephew, and just,
it's a rough time.
his age, and the business is, the business is different. It's evolving, and like he said, he says it's time for the new guys to take the helm, take over. And here's the ball, run with it.
And personally, I think, like, even some of the guys like Triple H and stuff, I think they're pretty much done too.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I think
And
that way with Batista was like his last.
That, and like he said, if that's it, if that was it, that's the way you're going out. I mean, how cool is that for your last match? That Boneyard match,
and especially against a performer like AJ Styles.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, when people think of WrestleMania 36, they're going to think of two things. They're going to think of coronavirus, and they're going to think about that Boneyard match.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just honestly, man, that's just.
It was good.
It was
It
great.
opened up potential.
And that whole, of him getting on his bike and riding off. It's like he said, maybe this time, the cowboy rides off for real.
Yep.
Because here's the thing, and I was one of these people who thought that cinematic style of match was, that'll give him more, that'll put some longevity in his career.
Yeah, that's what I was
not
thinking.
as bad as a match, in the ring. It's got to be easier to do that.
Right.
And then what did we learn?
It was an all-day process. You're kicking each other's ass, and then you got to stop when you're
right.
getting
And that's
your
the thing
adrenaline
he said.
up.
Yeah, when you get that adrenaline going, and you don't feel those aches and pains, and then they're like, okay, cut. We're gonna set up for a different angle. We're gonna for the next
and
shot.
It's like, shit,
and then
now
you got that stand around time. You got time for that adrenaline to go away, and
then you got to get ready for the next scene.
You start hurting. So, So he said that at the end of shooting, it was like a 45-minute. It felt like he'd had a 45-minute match. So.
I can see that. I mean, the man's been through, 14, 15 surgeries, too. Which is another thing you'll find out about his medical history.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
But, he did say, though, never say never.
Well, they always say that.
He did say never say never.
They always say that. I mean, listen, all I want to see is him and Sting in one of those type of matches that we were just talking about.
Well, let's not jump ahead. Let's, watching this and seeing like these old videos and pictures and stuff, it got us thinking, about our own Undertaker memories. So, I'm thinking, let's
okay.
Yeah, let's talk about let's talk about a few of our favorite Undertaker matches for one thing.
I like it.
I'll start off with quite possibly my favorite Undertaker match
I
ever.
bet you I know what it is.
You might be right, and it's against Foley in Hell in a Cell.
King of the Ring,
Mankind.
1998. Yep. That
The-
match set the bar, man. Go ahead and explain the why that was one of the matches you picked. Is that like your top Undertaker match, or is there just
That would
one of the
probably
few?
be. That would probably be. Well, I mean, I got a lot of them that I love, but
I do
that,
too.
You know, that would probably. It's definitely at the top of my list. If
Yep.
not the top match.
Yep.
It's one of the top. This Boneyard match was one of my favorite Undertaker matches.
I enjoyed it.
You know, that he's ever had.
And then if
The
you had to pick
Undertaker,
one more.
Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels when he retired. That match.
26, WrestleMania 26. That's right.
That's another one.
In
you know,
Arizona.
that is another memorable Undertaker match for me.
But yeah.
How about yourself? I mean, I just named three of them for me.
And all of those are fantastic choices because they were always in top matches. But I'm gonna be a little different. What I'll do is instead of using those, so it's not lame the same.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do is I'll go ahead and pick three more.
Well, I'm sure you have more than three favorite Undertaker matches.
Absolutely, that's what I'm
just
saying.
choose three different ones.
So if I had to go with, I would definitely say WrestleMania 14, Undertaker versus Kane.
Okay.
The build up for that match was like 5-6 months in the making, and it was to be Kane's very first big opponent, you know, from when he came in. So, and the storyline was just great between him and his brother.
All right.
So
what's another one?
Another one, if I had to pick, I would definitely say the one with Triple H at WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell, because of the story that was told between the three of them, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Taker.
Yeah, that's one where Shawn Michaels was the ref.
Yeah, and Shawn was like torn, but he wanted to end it so bad he interfered just to help Triple H, and it didn't work. But
and a third, I gave three.
all right, so for a third, I could go with WrestleMania 25, the first match between him and Shawn. But that's everybody's gonna say that. So if I had to pick one last one, I'd probably say I enjoyed him fighting Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Surprising. I would have guessed money that you would have mentioned the Undertaker Jeff Hardy ladder match.
Oh, that was an amazing match. But like like when I was growing up, I'm picking ones that like stood out to me. Like,
okay,
yeah.
I'm just saying that would have been one of my guesses.
I mean, if you want to go entertaining route, he's done a boiler room brawl with Mankind, which was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I mean, Inferno match. I mean, that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
the list goes on.
So yeah, favorite matches, but what's some of your favorite Undertaker rivalries?
Kane. If I had to pick, let's do three. Kane, okay.
Being your favorite?
One of my favorite. Actually, probably my favorite. We'll do that.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels, of course. Okay. And I would have to go with. Stone Cold Steve Austin, because when Austin was white hot, when he was like the top guy, they did Buried Alive match, they did singles matches, they did what was it? There was cage matches. They had a good rivalry when it was the corporate ministry.
Yeah.
So I gotta, it went on for a while. That I would pick for him. But so how about you?
Yeah, Kane.
Yeah.
Kane, probably my favorite Undertaker rivalry.
Then you got Mick Foley too.
I like Undertaker Mick Foley rivalry.
Yeah.
And
just so happens all the rivalries we're picking are part of the matches that we named.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what it is, man.
Yeah. Undertaker and Triple H. That was a
Which
good
one?
rivalry. Just
I'm sorry,
rivalry.
we're talking rivalry, not
Yeah.
matches. Yeah, that was good.
Um,
I already took Sean, so I didn't want to,
I liked Undertaker and Stone Cold. I liked when Undertaker and The Rock, feuded. Those ones.
They
were,
did. And The Rock used to make fun of him. He would try to do the eyeball thing, and he'd be like, with your
Yeah.
14-pound head.
Yeah. Undertaker, Kurt Angle had good runs.
Oh, yeah, they did. It was funny when Kurt Angle damaged his motorcycle. That was one of my favorite moments because Kurt Angle.
Oh, you know what? Real
threw
quick, going back,
acid.
that's another favorite match of mine was Undertaker and Shane.
Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give one that's just a random one here. If we're gonna spit one out, Undertaker. You said Kurt Angle. Him and Kurt Angle, 2001 Survivor Series. No, 2000 Survivor Series. He was the American Badass at the time.
Yeah.
It was a good match.
So, Undertaker and Yokozuna had some good matches.
And let me just say this, since we're talking about matches, real quick. See how we're naming off matches? You can go in every single decade that he wrestled.
Oh yeah, man.
And pick out. So, like for instance, you said Yokozuna, so we're talking early '90s now. So we can go back even more. Him and Hulk Hogan. He was the thing that stopped Hulk
Undertaker
Hogan.
and Ultimate Warrior was a good one.
I didn't know they fought too. You were telling me. I need to look that up on
They had a
WWE
casket
Networks.
match.
Did they?
Yeah.
Right on. So I mean, and that's the thing too. Look how cool Undertaker is. He had matches made after him. Buried alive match, a casket match.
All right, talking about matches. What's some Taker dream matches that never happened that you would have loved to see?
The obvious one.
Well, yeah.
Any wrestling fan will say. Go ahead.
Yeah, Undertaker Sting.
Absolutely.
Okay. Beyond Undertaker Sting, aside from Undertaker Sting,
Right.
who's a couple guys you would love to have seen him go against?
From any company, any organization.
Man. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the whole point of a dream match.
Taker. If we're gonna spit off people, I would say Undertaker versus Monster Abyss. I would like to have seen that. Let's make it a little unique.
That would definitely have been
Maybe
good.
in a Monsters Ball match, or Hell in a Cell. Because Taker, before Triple H was starting to win all of them, Taker was.
Yeah.
Well, that was his match.
That was his match.
Is how I took it. But anyways, so yeah, I would definitely pick Chris Parks, which is Monster Abyss. Would have liked to seen the Undertaker. I would like to have seen the Undertaker versus the Great Muta. That'd be kind of unique.
It would definitely be different.
But if you want to go that way too, I would have liked to have seen the Undertaker. If I had to pick one more, all right, I'm gonna go with this one. I would say the Fiend versus the Undertaker. That would be the top one.
Yeah.
Besides the Sting one.
Yeah, it would be the Fiend in a casket match. Sting, yeah. Obviously.
So, and honestly,
Abyss, yeah, it's another one. I mean,
nothing to take away from AJ Styles, by the way, but that's who. If it was going to be anybody else besides AJ Styles, I would have wanted it to be the Fiend in a Boneyard match, and
the
Taker
Fiend
passes
win.
the torch.
The Fiend win, though.
And then at the end, when the Fiend does what Taker did, pull the shell off, you'll see Undertaker, and then see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think Taker would have been cool with that too. Who knows? But I did like he was able to ride off into the sunset. And he did it on his terms. He deserves to. Not many guys get to leave on their own terms, and
right.
He was like what the ultimate loyalty to a business is. That's why him and McMahon had a relationship like a father-son almost. He named one of his son's middle name Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle McCool talked about it. Again, all in this documentary.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. real quick. If Undertaker wouldn't have, let's see, gotten the title as soon as he did from Hulk Hogan when he, a little bit after, I think he was there for maybe a year and he got the belt. Okay. If that didn't happen, do you think he would have still progressed to where he is now, or do you think he might not have gotten the big push?
If he wouldn't have got the title then, he would have just got it later.
You
I
think
think
so?
he still would have. It just
I do too.
It just got him there quicker.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. But
he pretty much.
It's kind of like Vince did what they did with Brock Lesnar versus
and one of the reasons is because Undertaker had many memorable moments. In fact, what I would like to know what some of your most memorable Undertaker moments are.
Okay, we'll go dark here for a minute. When they were hanging Stone Cold Steve Austin up on the stage.
When he crucified him on
the
his
Undertaker symbol. Now, they didn't call it a crucifixion, but
he crucified him on his symbol.
It was like, holy cow, man, this guy is taking out the hero.
Yeah, Stone Cold was just yelling.
Yeah, he was like talking crap.
Yep, same here. That's one of my memorable moments. Of course, for me, one of my most memorable Undertaker moments is when he first showed up.
Oh yeah,
his
with Brother Love.
Appearance.
Brother Love, right?
And Roddy Piper yelling out, "Look at the size of that ham hock!
Look at that ham hock!
Look at the size of that ham hock!"
That was actually pretty good. So I'll tell you another one of mine, and I'll go a little bit more recent when he was rivaling WrestleMania 30 with Brock. Do you remember the brawl they had?
Yeah.
That was cool. If I had to pick something recent, all the locker rooms just come out, man, and Triple H is trying to stop them. Triple H is grabbing Brock by the head to get him out of the ring.
Another one of my memorable Undertaker moments.
Yeah.
Was the debut of the American Badass when Diaz
Judgment
was all
Day.
out in the ring.
It was an Iron Man match with Triple H and The Rock.
Yeah,
Shawn
they're all out
Michaels
there
was the ref.
and you hear that that little video thing starts playing, and you hear the little girl say, "He's here."
Kind of reminded me of the little girls from Freddy.
Yeah. When the music kicks in, he comes out on the bike, and it was a version of the Undertaker we had never seen before, and it blew people's minds.
He was Harley Davidson Undertaker.
He was American.
No,
badass.
he was an American badass. Okay.
Who's your favorite version of Taker?
Oh, wait a minute. I want to do one more moment, man.
Oh, yeah? You got another moment? Okay, go for it.
If I had to pick, honest to God, Undertaker, one of my favorite moments that I don't think can be topped is when it was at a pay-per-view. Undertaker had Paul Bearer there. Paul Bearer was held captive from the Dudley Boys in Heidenreich. Okay. Yeah. And so Paul Bearer was sitting in like a tube thing. But at the end of the match, if Undertaker was to beat them, he would be able to save Paul Bearer. Well, the Undertaker did beat them. And he was going to go over there to save Paul Bearer. And Paul Bearer's all happy. He's like, "Oh, my Undertaker, thank you," whatever. And he says, "Paul, rest in peace." And he pulls the lever, and cement just fills up the thing. It looks like he freaking Han Solo'd him in Return of the Jedi. Yeah. And then you see Paul Bearer just, like in there, and he's filled with cement like Taker killed him. Like, he's like, "You know what? I'm just going to end it now. We had a good run." I felt like that was symbolic to kind of end that relationship in wrestling, like, I don't know. I thought it was unique.
Yeah.
Some of them writers are some sick bastards, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I remember.
I tried picking like something from different eras, so, but that would be mine. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, man, I gotta make sure I talk about that.
And with Undertaker, that Hell in a Cell with Mick Foley.
Oh,
it was just the vision, the image I had right after he threw Mick off, him just standing there, just looking down at him. Of course, we knew now that he was thinking. Well, he said like in the documentary, he said what he was thinking when he was up there was like, "Oh, please, 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 please don't let him be dead." You know,
Yeah.
I think I killed him.
But then, what was even better in that match, another good moment, Taker did a choke slam to Mick onto a steel chair that was on top of the cell, and he choke slammed Mick, and Mick went through it.
Yeah, yeah.
That was not supposed to happen.
Right.
And as Mick goes down, Mick Foley will tell you, he lands on the steel chair that's below him. So the chair comes down and he ba-bam on the steel chair, hits him as he goes down with the chair. So the chair hits him and he falls.
Yeah.
And oh man, Mick had a lot of injuries. Taker, I think, just left with a broken ankle, and that was from him jumping down from the cell.
No, he had a broken ankle before this match started.
Did he?
It was a broken foot.
Misunderstood.
He had a broken foot when the match started.
But then that's why when you see him go down, you kind of see him like hobble
yeah.
a little. That was from him landing on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could go all night talking about Undertaker matches and rivalries and moments. But what I want to know is, what's your final thoughts on watching that and on Taker? And the golden question. Is he done? Did we see his last match?
I think
or will
so.
he have another one?
Put it this way. This is what I think. When he made this documentary, he probably planned on, this is going to be it. I'm going to finally do what I haven't done for the fans. I'm going to let them into my life. I'm going to let them know who the real Mark Calloway is, who the real Undertaker is.
Yeah.
And I think he did that for the fans. And so, by him doing that, it was his like farewell address. His farewell, guys, this is it. He said never say never. So my thought to that is,
but
if anything, if they can get Sting on board, maybe I think that would be the one he would come out.
It's the only one I would want to see him come back
and
for.
Maybe do like a cinematic, because honestly, those two cannot go in the ring together anymore. 10, 15 years ago, without a doubt.
He'd be the only person I would want to see him come back for. Otherwise,
it'd be pointless.
I mean, as much as I hate the fact that he's done,
Well, that's anybody who's his fans, man. I mean, it's like since you were a young kid.
Unless it's Sting, I hope he stays retired. And
that's my thought.
He's earned it. He's earned it.
He's earned it, and he wrote his own ticket at the end, man.
He's going like he said, dude.
He did it how he wanted to do it.
The way he wants it, yeah.
And he even said, before AJ Styles even knew, he said, out of the current guys on the roster, AJ was one he would have wanted to wrestle.
Right.
So he got to do that.
Well, of course, the final golden, $1 million question. Because obviously it's a given. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I guarantee you next year.
Who?
If they do it.
Who inducts him?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
That's your guess.
I bet you if Taker asked him, he would do it. He'd be pissed about it, but he would do it.
Yeah.
I think Taker's the one
guy. I think it's going to be Vince
McMahon
as well. Because Undertaker has said he already knows who he is going to ask, who he wants to induct him, but he's not going to say it because he doesn't want to give them the chance to back out.
And let me tell you something.
I think it's going to be McMahon.
Oh, yeah. Because I can tell you right now, I guarantee Kane would do it with no problem.
Oh, Kane would do
Triple
it.
H,
Shawn Michaels, Shane.
any of them, Shane. They would all do it.
Foley,
Foley would love to do it. But, yeah. So I really think,
I mean, I could see his wife doing it.
Michelle McCool could do it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Vince.
I do think so, too.
So,
I would
just
love
want
to see that.
I just want to close this out by saying, as you can see from the sign there,
Thank you,
know,
Taker.
thank you, Taker. Yeah,
30
absolutely,
years.
Man. 30 years plus. 30 years of the Undertaker.
One of the
30
longest
plus years
one of the longest careers in professional wrestling.
You know, who'd have thought when I was a kid and I was watching, him with the skyscrapers and Mean Mark Calloway, that he would eventually become.
And when
the
WCW let him
phenom.
go, WCW letting him go was the best thing that could happen to him.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
and I'm sure there's no regrets there.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. None at all.
So,
we just again, us here at 3-2 Unscrewed, you can see we got him right there.
got the dead man right there.
Dead man up there. Again, just thanks for 3 decades of kick ass. 3 decades of
Entertainment.
and just 3 decades of.
And I don't think anybody could have pulled that character off better.
Phenom.
I don't think anybody could have pulled that character off better than him. You know what I mean?
Nope.
So.
He definitely made a lot of people famous.
Yes, he did. Except Diamond Dallas Page didn't really go nowhere after he fought Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him, man.
30 years of
bang!
taking holes or taking souls and digging
holes. That's right, man.
Well, enjoy your retirement. You've earned it. And I know that we'll see you in appearances here and there. I'm sure.
Dude, I bet you he'll train people in NXT for a little bit. I guarantee he will be a part-time trainer. Yeah. He'll go in there.
But he'll always be alive in the archives of the WWE. That's the beauty thing about if you have the network, you can go back
$9.99 a month.
You can go back and watch every Undertaker match he's ever had, pretty much. Just
Right.
On TV or pay-per-view. So.
All right.
So we just want to say one last thing before we go.
You will rest in peace.
Subscribe.
Thank you, Taker.